enjoy hopefully 70 degrees, which is quite nice compared to the 30 we've been having. Today on the Cummins swap, we got the replacement clutch slave cylinder, master cylinder set up, pre-bled. We're going to install and see if that makes our clutch work better. If you caught our episode last week, it wasn't working well. We don't know if there was air. We bled it again, but it just didn't work right. We weren't getting the travel we needed out of it. So we got the new one here. We're going to get that installed and see if we get the proper travel out of that. One thing we've not looked at on this entire project is the throttle linkage. It's kind of an important part of putting an engine in a truck. It's a school bus engine, and this was an electronic engine. The gas engine was electronic in the truck. So we've got to figure out how we're going to make that work. We do have the gas pedal in already. That is the mechanical gas pedal. We just need to figure out how we're going to make all that work. The alternator needs to be rebuilt. We didn't realize that the bus wasn't charging because 12 valve doesn't really need power. Alternator junk, we're going to get that out so we can send that out and get it rebuilt. Way better than buying one off the shelf. We also need to figure out what turbo we're going to use. We have an HE351 CW, which is off a 24 valve. That's before the variable vane geometry, all that, VGT, there you go. But we need to figure out what turbo we're actually going to use. This one here, AJ dropped on the floor and now it's junk. But it was junk when we got it. It's more of a mock-up turbo. So we're going to get on that clutch first, and then we'll move on to the cable, and we'll see what we can get done. Let's get to it.
All right, so we just ran our master cylinder right through the firewall there. And then here's our reservoir. Then the line, let's see if I can get it light there. Our line goes underneath the steering column. And there's Timmy down there getting the slave cylinder hooked up. Let's go underneath and visit him real quick.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably good.
And then we can run it however we want.
Come on, baby. There we go. Turn.
Now we'll test it and see if our movement's better on this new clutch. Or not clutch, but master and slave cylinder. Out of the last master and slave cylinder setup, I think we got it to move, what, half an inch?
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, and that was a brand new setup. So we took that back and got a brand new one. And hopefully this one moves a little more. Second brand new one, that's right. Okay, so we ran into a little problem where we didn't move this bracket that our slave cylinder is on needs to be about an inch further this way. So right now we're missing some of the travel when we push in the clutch, and so we're not engaging or separating the clutches like we need to. So we'll cut this bracket off and move it about an inch towards us, and hopefully that'll solve it.
Yeah, there was no way we couldn't get the linkage any more this way. This is kind of where it had to be, but we're missing almost an inch of travel because by the time it tightens everything up, we're bottoming out the slave. So thankfully we only welded bottom and side. We can easily cut this off, and we're just going to stack a piece of 1 inch or 2 pieces of 1/2 inch behind it, weld it, and then put this back on, and we should be golden. But this definitely works better than the other one. The other one, we were barely getting a 1/2 inch of travel out of it, so we definitely had a bad master-slave combination or whatever, but we're still fighting, kind of tightening everything up. So let's cut that off, get the new one welded back up, let it cool, and try it again. So we got this cut off, all cleaned up. What we did is we didn't have any 1 inch, but we got some 1/2 inch here. There we go. We got some light. We marked it like this, and then second piece like that. So we're gonna cut that and cut this. I don't know. We need a hole, but we'll weld this on, weld this on, weld this on. Again, we're pushing that way, so it's not trying to pull it off. We'll be just fine. We'll not tack weld it. We'll not spot weld it. We'll tack weld it. There we go, and then we'll try everything out.
This is our welding station right here. The floor.
Instead of piling crap on, I'm so bad about that. My workbenches are all piled high.
Yeah.
We will be more organized. We will.
Yes, on the next build, we will be more organized.
We will.
If you can just take care of your tools in the first place, then you always know where they're at.
It is now 1 inch. Do you want to hold that? It feels good though. It's still cold out. It's not 70 yet.
Nope. I think it's like 40.
It was
7 or
40
something.
something when I came in this morning.
Which is far better than 10.
Oh my gosh. Far superior. Of course, there's no snow to go put this in.
You know. Actually, there is.
You still have snow?
Yep.
We got the 1 inch block just tack welded in here, and then we just tack welded our plate to the block, and we actually are getting the clutch to release. It still, I feel like it could do a little bit better. This is supposed to have 2 inches of travel. We are not getting 2 inches of travel out of it. So when I adjust this clutch, this is an Eaton manually adjusted clutch, I can get it to where it releases pretty good, but I have no free play right here. So what we're thinking about doing is, before we weld it solid, I can go up with this bracket by about 3/4 of an inch. And if we drill our hole here about 3/4 of an inch, that means we're getting more movement out of this shaft with the same amount of travel here. So we're gonna see if we can, I don't know we're gonna get this linkage off. We're gonna see if we can get a drill in here and drill a hole 3/4 of an inch up and try it. We may not like it, we might come right back down to here. But we're so close. When he pushes the clutch, I can grab the yoke and I can turn it. So the clutch is releasing. There's just still quite a bit of drag. We're gonna try this adjustment. If it doesn't work, we'll put it back. But it releases the clutch now, so that's fantastic. All right, right there. Make sure that's it. At least I got my dimple now. We're gonna go with it. There we go. Does it feel tighter?
A little bit.
Okay, push it all the way out.
All right, I'm gonna push all the way to the floor.
Okay.
That's everything.
See, that just doesn't seem like it's any further. Yeah, go ahead and push it.
Okay, you ready?
Yep. See, are you pushing still?
Yeah, I am now.
It doesn't feel any better. We might be getting a little bit more travel up inside the transmission.
Okay.
Maybe that's all this slave is good for, is 1 1/4 inches. We drilled this hole up 1 inch higher. We shot for 3/4. We ended up hitting 1 inch because there's actually writing cast into here, and it made it really hard to get a start. But we left the slave cylinder in the current position, but just cocked it up there. And apparently this slave is only good for 1 1/4 inches. A travel. Now, we weren't even getting that before, so it definitely was bad, but it doesn't matter what we do, we only get 1 1/4 inch travel or extension. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this bracket up to line up, because before it was way hard on this. Move this bracket up. If we can do 3/4 inch, we will. But it is releasing the clutch. It's not perfect, but it could just be this clutch is rusty too, because it's been sitting. It's not new, so it's got rust. But it is releasing the clutch. We're gonna move this up, double check it again, and then we're gonna burn that baby on, and she's done. All right, we got that bracket moved up 3/4 of an inch, nicely welded. You can see the blue there, so she's all welded up. And we need to let it cool. It's a little warm. We try and stuff our plastic slave cylinder in there, and it's just gonna melt and be a bad day. We are going to get this drive shaft out of the way. We've been avoiding it because these bolts are so rounded off. We're going to get that out of the way because it's been a real pain. And then way up there is the throttle linkage for the P-pump to make this thing go vroom vroom. I don't know if you can actually see it. We are going to work on figuring out how we're going to connect that to the throttle pedal. So stay tuned. So change of plans here. Doesn't matter how much we mushroom these, get them hot. They just don't want to come out. And this right here is the reason that I haven't done it yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to weld a 3/8 nut onto the top of those, just like that. And then we're going to hopefully spin them out, probably heat it up like I did before. Let's see what happens. Like we're, oh hey, there you go. We finally got that out. It took like what felt like forever, but it's done. So it's lunchtime. The slave cylinder is back in and pretty much perfect. It works very well. We're very happy with it. We also figured out, we thought there was too much resistance, but when I realized he was putting it in third gear, that's basically a mechanical disadvantage when I spin the yoke. So with that in mind, we put it in 1-to-1, which would be 7th gear. Push on the clutch, we get about 1.25 inches of movement, and the yoke spins awesome. So very happy with that. That turned out really nice. We're gonna got a nut to put on the back of that bolt, and then we're gonna put a spring on right here. Put the light where we can see it. We're gonna put a spring from here. We'll need a longer one than that, but we'll figure out someplace to put a spring to help it return. It's still kind of fighting us there, but this works better than factory. Pushing the pedal, you can push it with your hand. It's amazing. We had to make a small adjustment. There wasn't enough threads into our nylock to get into the nylon, so I had a washer on the back side to get this angle a little bit better. We had to take one of those washers out, so we're just checking to make sure we're not going to rub the side of the slave cylinder right here. I know it's really hard for you to see, but go ahead and push on it. Yep. Okay, release. Alright, so we're going to put that boot back on because we're good there. Well, let's check this out here. Let's move over here. Show you how easy this is working now. So, alright, the transmission is in 6th gear, which is 1-to-1. We're going to have him push on the clutch and show you how easy this moves. Go ahead and push on the clutch. Look at that. That is just perfect. So the drag that I thought I was feeling, or the resistance, was just the fact that we were putting it in 3rd gear, which is not gear reduction, that's gear increasing gear. So it's trying to spin the clutch like 5 times for every rotation of this. But that's perfect right there. This is kind of a real guess as to where we want to put the throttle cable. There's no markings or anything on the firewall. So what we did is we guessed the pedal needs to be probably right there-ish. And we used a long punch to go through the dash and tried to be perpendicular to this angled surface, because this part of the dash is angled. And we made a poke there, indent, whatever you want to call it, punch, used a punch. And then we can see that we can't get a drill in the dash. What's so funny? We can't get a drill in the dash, but we can get a drill on the other side. But now we can see this where we made a mark.
So let's go outside and see that dimple,
so
maybe.
We'll go outside and see the dimple, but that's really just a guess. Like, we think that's where it needs to be. It looks like it should be good. And it'll be good enough for us. All right, so we can just see where we made that indent from the inside. And I don't know how close that is to what a factory one would be back in the early 2000s. But that's where we find it's going to work best. So we're going to drill it. We don't have a throttle cable yet, but where it's going to run to, oh my gosh, this is the bracket from the Ford because it was in a bus. So we're going to use what would have been the high idle cable. Watch I drop it. And this little guy bolts on here and holds the cable just like so. And then goes all the way down to the bottom to that brass. Can you actually see it?
I don't know. It's hard to see the screen.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah, so that brass thimble right there is gonna hold the end of the cable. This up here will hold the sheath. It's gonna work out really well, I think. If we had a factory, if the engine was out of a Dodge truck, it would be a little bit easier, but I think this is more adjustable. So now we just gotta get a cable.
So one of the things that we ran into is on our low pressure pump, it was leaking. We could still prime, get it to run, everything was fine, but it was leaking fuel, so we needed to change it. So today, along with obviously doing the clutch stuff, the throttle, cable linkage and all that, one of the things that is in that area is that low pressure pump. So we went ahead and put a new one on, and let's see if you can see from down here.
Does that light work?
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. All right, so right here, let's see, can you see that at all?
Is the light blinding or?
No, you're good. So right here's our low pressure pump. You've got your primer pump right there. Since we were in this area and it was leaking, we figured we'd just get it taken care of now. So I forgot, we also have to pick up it's a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch pipe fitting, because the old one had a different size. So we'll pick that up and get that, and then it should be perfect at that point. Tim's always sleeping on the job. Catch him under hoods, snoozing.
Today was a really good day. Felt really good. Really excited to see that clutch working properly. I still think we could have gotten some more travel out of the slave cylinder, but with that minor adjustment we made, it really is working good. Very excited to be able to turn the yoke when you push the clutch. We got the fuel pump changed. That's been leaking since we put the motor in, so that was good. We figured out the throttle cable. We're gonna get a forward throttle cable. We marked on the firewall where it needs to go, but we didn't want to drill it till we get that cable in. Being the bus pump, the P pump, it's got a different mount than the Dodge does, so we figured out how that's gonna work. But overall, very productive day, very happy. Definitely wonderful to have it 70 instead of 7. I know I'm still wearing a sweatshirt, but I'm like that. But definitely keep watching. We're so close to making this thing run and drive. We've got another really exciting project to do after this, so definitely stay tuned. Check out the previous videos on this build and like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.